Okay, so my first question for you is who are you and what do you do for work? What's your company called? Where are you based out of? All that kind of stuff.
So my name's Jamie, and I am a co-owner of GenTech Northwest. We're based out of Western Washington. Pretty much cover everything west of the Cascades,
Mhm.
and I've been doing this for probably I'd say 30 years. Not really heavy into Generac all 30 years, but since '93 I've been installing Generac products,
Mhm.
and we've really been focusing on Generac products in the last probably 15 years.
Mhm.
So we've been really good about getting updated with their new products and learning all their new about all their new products and things like that. So
Mhm.
um, I would say we're well in tune with Generac right now, and yeah, and that's why one of our struggles was getting decent leads, and that's
Mhm.
why we partnered up with you at SwiftSocial about a year ago or so, because we've been having issues that way.
Mhm. And can you go a little bit more into that? Like, what kind of struggles were you having specifically when it came to getting leads and getting new business and stuff and getting your name out there?
So all of our good leads were actually word of mouth leads, but that's not really enough to grow a business. Um, it is slowly. So we were partnered up with Generac probably I don't know 5, 6, maybe longer, 7 years ago on their Power Play partnership, and we noticed after the first few years that the leads were just they're very time consuming having to go to everybody's residents, and I'm talking specifically homeowners, go to everybody's residence, do a free quote. They don't have a lot of them didn't have the budget for it. They just weren't vetted at all from the factory, because the factory, what they do is they'll take any lead in any phone call and they'll just turn it around, send it to their power play partners, which we were one of. So they didn't really care if um, if the homeowner or the potential customer had enough money to buy the product. So
Hey, real quick, if you're a home standby generator installer and you want 3 to 5 plus additional generator installs per month, which is about $30,000 to $100,000 plus in new revenue every single month, I'll build you an advertising system just like the ones I show you how to build in my videos here to do that for you, and I'll run it for you totally for free for 2 weeks. And if you don't love working with me, you never pay me a penny for it. So if that sounds interesting, go ahead and click the link below to book a quick phone call with me in the description, and that's go.swiftsocial.org. And I'm looking forward to talking to you. Thanks.
the lead they didn't really validate their leads or put much time into checking them out.
Um, so besides the factory and the power play leads from Generac, what methods were you using to generate leads before starting to work with me? Was it mostly just the Generac power play leads and word of mouth and stuff like that, or did you do any other sorts of advertising? Or tell me about that.
Yeah, so we quit the power play leads before we partnered up with you, and then at that time we were doing, I think we did local radio. um, we did just banner advertising. um, we did phone book, believe it or not.
Mhm.
But got talked into that a few times. Think it's kind of a thing in the past now, but
Mhm.
we didn't do any Facebook stuff. We didn't really have an Instagram page at all until you suggested that we, get one up and running. Same with the Facebook. Um, so we didn't have much luck at all with any of that. It was mostly word of mouth, or people would just see our trailers and vans on the road, and they would just call us. Um, Even our Google search was really low. When you went on Google, we didn't show up. And then
Yeah.
when we quit doing the power play thing for Generac, um, you would go and punch our zip code into Generac, and they would favor other dealers that were more aligned to what they wanted everybody to do. The more money you pay them, the more programs you're in with Generac, you're going to show up top on that dealer page, on a dealer locator page. And what happens is we were unaligning with them, and they would push us to the second page, even though somebody would type in our exact zip code and we were the only dealer in that exact zip code. You wouldn't be able to find us until you went to the second page of that.
Yeah.
So
Okay. And how is the service that I provide you? How has that service helped address those challenges or solve some of those problems for you, would you say?
Well, I think the biggest thing is that you had you have all those lists of questions and stuff ahead of time. So before we even get the new lead, they've already went through your vetting process,
Mhm.
through all those questions, and so maybe some of them are starting to fill out those questions on the form, and then they're just dropping out because it doesn't align with what they're looking for. They don't have maybe a budget for it, or for many reasons. Maybe they don't own their home, or you know. But it seems like you're filtering through them better than anybody else. Even ourselves. And so when we're getting those leads now, we're not wasting a bunch of time in trying to chase down something that may never end up being a sale. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. That's great. And these can be just ballpark numbers too, but just off the top of your head, you said we've been working together for a little over a year at this point, or something like that. What results have you seen since we started working together? Maybe like number of installs, or just ballpark, or any increases in revenue or profit, that kind of thing.
Well, it's hard to say because we were in like a down cycle there for a little while. Things are
Mm-hmm.
picking up now, but with the economy, it's just not a very good economy.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you have large storms or in a big storm area, um, then people aren't really thinking about generators as much as they should be. But I would
Yeah.
say our well, I could put it in one way. Our I will bet you that we have probably a 50% higher close rate because the
Mm-hmm.
leads are much better quality than we did before. In the past, before we started working together. So let's just say if we got to go look at 200 jobs, now we're probably getting 100 of them versus looking at 200 before and maybe just getting like one out of those 200, or even if it's just phone calls, because we don't go and look
Mm-hmm.
at every single job. We just can't afford to. But we
Yeah.
do our own vetting process on the phone as well, just to kind of give them budget numbers and get down to the pennies and stuff like that, and give them a better idea before we go out.
Yeah. And what if you just had to put a number on it though, like what would you say on average, how many installs do you think you're doing per month, or maybe just this year, with the ads that I do for you and stuff and from those leads?
So I would say we probably increased 6 to 10 installs a month,
Mm-hmm.
based
Awesome.
off of what you're doing for us directly.
Mm-hmm. And that was in this last year, or the whole time we've been working together?
It was slow. So that's the other thing, is we're really starting to notice it now.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like it was slow at the beginning, but now I talk to people and they've been following the ads, and they've been following us and the
Mm-hmm.
stuff that you've put online about us, and and they're just waiting until they actually have the money. They're not even thinking about hiring anybody else. I just talked to a lady yesterday. She's like, I've been watching you guys for 4 months, and I'm just waiting to get my HELOC loan, and waiting to get all my
Yeah.
finances in order, and she's just going to hire us. So
Mm-hmm.
there's people like that out there that are waiting, but they always have that going on
Mm-hmm.
their Facebook. Those ads are running, and
Mm-hmm.
it's always a reminder that, hey, I need to get that generator
Mm-hmm.
installed, and then we're always right in their face. You know,
Yeah.
that's my thought.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's just the way it works, but I don't. I
No,
don't.
yeah, absolutely. Because I think, when you run the ads for as long as you have, because we've been doing the ads for you on Facebook for, like you said, over a year now at this point.
Yeah,
So, when you build up, when you do ads for that long, especially with something that's like niche with generator installs and stuff, like not a
yeah,
lot of other people are doing, ads for that. It's like, yeah, even if people aren't ready to go ahead and buy a generator right then at that moment when they see it, when you do it for that long of a period of time, I think it kind of builds up that association in people's mind where it's like, for instance, for you, it's like, you
yeah,
want a generator,
absolutely. Yeah,
Gentech, and then that's the first company you remember, right? So yeah,
yeah,
for
absolutely.
sure.
That's just that constant reminder too. It's just you
Mm-hmm.
know it's really good to keep that in
Great.
people's faces.
Yeah. So you already mentioned it earlier, but you were saying, kind of the vetting process and those questions that I ask people on the forum before they even become a lead and actually you get in touch with them. But what aspects of our system or the service that I do for you guys would you say that you like most?
I don't know if I can pick out one thing. I just like the fact that it's something that we don't have to worry about as business owners. It's just we worry about the only thing we have to worry about is going after those leads once we get everybody's information.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like also I've been noticing, the quicker you respond to
Mm-hmm.
that lead. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't care if it's as soon as you get that lead, it's probably minutes later after they filled out the form. The
Mhm.
quicker you respond, the easier it is to get a hold of these people.
Yeah,
These
absolutely. I tell people that all the time.
so
Yeah.
sometimes, and we have been doing this, and I'm guilty of it. We would get a lead on a Friday, and it'd
Mhm.
be like end of the day. I'd be like, okay, I'll put them on Monday's schedule to go and give them a call. But
Mhm.
it's like as soon as we get that lead, I call them. Sometimes I call Saturdays, and they answer the phone. You know, I'll do a text message. I'll send out our
Mhm.
a text message. I don't know, it's a generic thing that I came up with, but anyways, I'll send that out, and then I'll also send our what do you call it, testimonial page that you've done
Yeah,
for,
that I made for you. Yeah.
yeah, on our website. You did a testimonial page, put all our testimonials in one
Mhm.
link. So I'll send that out with the text message right away.
Mhm.
And if they don't respond to that, I'll give them a phone call. But I would say in the last 3 months, it's just been, I'm able to get a hold of just about everybody, it seems like.
Mhm.
Whether
That's
they buy a
awesome.
generator or not, at least they're talking to us and we're having a conversation about it,
Mhm.
as opposed to, you know, waiting 2 or 3 days or over a weekend, and then sometimes they probably forget about it, or they just change their mind, or somebody else has already gotten to them. They went to Costco or Home Depot and they
Mhm.
bought a generator sitting in the back of their truck. Now they don't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
So I think that's a big difference in the way we've been approaching
Mhm.
this lead generation program that you have us in.
Gotcha. That's awesome. Have you bought anything or done anything cool with the extra money that you've made working with me?
Oh, geez, I'm always doing fun things.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have anything in mind.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, let me think. Bought a house, a second home. Um, let's see. Yeah, I don't know. I'm always spending money, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. It just goes out anyway. So,
Yeah,
um,
spend
well,
it as I get.
yeah. So, what would you say to other generator installers who are maybe considering working with me, but they're still kind of on the fence about it?
Well, I would say. Um, well, now I know you're doing a 2 week free trial. I don't
Hmm.
know if I'm
Yeah.
supposed to say that on this video,
Oh,
but
yeah. No, no. Yeah, that's offered to everyone. Yeah, you can say that.
I would say that is the best opportunity they're going to have for getting new quality leads.
Yeah.
And like I said, I've been doing this a long time, and that's the one thing I was lacking in
Hmm.
building our business is just getting quality leads, basically. And
Hmm.
now that we have that piece of the puzzle figured out through you and your system,
Hmm.
that's going to be great for the future.
Yeah.
So I would think they need to, hands down, take all that other advertising dollars that they're spending right now,
Hmm.
just cut it off like the head off a snake and put it all into SwiftSocial,
Hmm.
and they're going to be much better off. And I
Awesome.
can say that with conviction.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah.
And then last question for you is, how would you describe your experience overall with us to someone who, again, is maybe thinking about working with us? If you had to maybe summarize it in like one sentence.
Uh, Customer support.
Hmm.
I know that I can send you a text or an email, and I'm getting a response within 24 hours, even if it's on a weekend, Saturday, Sunday, 8 o'clock at night. You just don't have that anymore nowadays with
Hmm.
anybody, you
Yeah.
know. And contractors are
Gotcha.
like that a lot too.
Okay,
It's you
great.
just don't have
Well,
that.
yeah. Okay, great. I think that's all the questions I got for you. So unless you have anything else to add, I
Okay.
appreciate you doing this with me. And yeah, is there anything else you want to add, or is that
Yeah,
it?
you bet. No, I think we covered everything. So,
Okay, awesome. Well, I appreciate you doing this with me then. Thank you.
or you bet. All right, thanks, Mitch.